Okay, so bear with me. I'm not really good with technology. I don't understand why my videos keep getting cut off before I press stop. They just keep stopping on me. I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the power level of the tablet I'm using. I hope when people finally do watch my videos, if they ever do watch my videos, that the audio is okay and that everybody's able to hear what I'm saying. I don't always speak very clearly. I know that, and I will try to do my best to always enunciate words and use the proper word in the proper sense. Also, try and use my hands less. I noticed in my last couple of videos, I tend to use my hands a lot, like I'm uncomfortable because I'm not used to filming myself. So, and you just need to get more comfortable with that. So I watched my yesterday's video, and where it cut me off was right before eighth grade recognition. I just said they gave me the choice to choose my roommate, whereas I feel that it would have been better if I was left in a room by myself, even though I think they couldn't do that. And obviously, a chaperone couldn't be in the room with me, and no adult with a child. I get that. You know, I mean, that would have been way more of a no-no, I guess. And I was a problem child to begin with, so they wanted. I guess they needed someone there to supervise me. But I picked a kid named Keith, and it pulled him out of the room he was with his friends, and he just ended up getting mad at me, and he told me while we were there that he wished that I would have picked someone else. And it's funny how grown-ups will force kids to interact with each other or do things together they don't want to do, and it makes it worse than just leaving the kid out. I'll give three examples. First example, when I was in third grade, a kid came to school and he passed out birthday invitations to everybody in class that was a boy except me. Now, I think the teacher or somebody figured out that I didn't get invited. I think one of my friends asked me if I was going to his birthday party, and I said no, I didn't get invited. And after my friend found out I wasn't invited, he made a problem about it, and he got me invited. And then the whole time I was at the birthday party, the kid that was the birthday boy that didn't want me there was just, it was unpleasant. You know what I mean? I don't think I got a gift bag. There wasn't a gift bag for me because I wasn't supposed to be there. There was just all sorts of stuff. It was again. They made this kid invite me, and it was horrible for both of us. All right, that's one example. Second example, I went to another birthday party. I don't remember how old I was, but there was a pinata. Now, there's certain things you can do with a pinata that I believe to be fair. Now, I don't have to be, not everybody in the world has to agree with what I believe you should be doing with your pinatas. But I believe you shouldn't do excessive amounts of confusion games to a kid and then move the pinata on top of it. So this is what happened to me. This is my personal experience with what happened to me with pinata. I went to a birthday party and they blindfolded me, spun me around, and then I don't know if I could see or not, but I think I'm pretty sure I knew where the pinata was, and this is why I got so mad. Was I swang at the pinata three times and I didn't get to hit the pinata at all because there was somebody with the string. Every time I swung, he yanked the pinata up out of my reach. So they had a pinata hanging from like a 10 foot or a 12 foot thing, and I'm a 4 foot child. And every time I swung at the pinata, this guy yanked it up out of the way because they didn't want me to break the pinata. They wanted the birthday boy to break the pinata. So if that's the case, don't let other people have a turn. That's all you have to do. You just don't give me a turn. But instead, give me a turn and then make it in a way that's so unfair that I don't even get to make contact with the pinata is just going to upset them. I don't understand how someone didn't see that as a way to upset a child. So I got mad and I stormed off from the birthday party. People stopped inviting me to birthday parties after that, which I'm very happy they did. I wasn't really about it. So that's the second example. Third example would be when I went to this eighth grade recognition. I honestly was drawing a blank right there for a second, but it came back to me. So when I went to eighth grade recognition, the parents forced, or the teachers forced me to pick a kid to pull him out of a room that was already pre-decided of him and his three friends, and they were all going to be happy-go-lucky together and whatever they were going to do all night. And I pulled this guy out of where he already expected to go and made him go in a room with me, and he made me miserable. And made sure he let me know he didn't want to be there with me, which made me feel bad too. So, like, there was all sorts of things that were compounding on this trip. And it's like, then I went to Universal Studios and I was in a bad mood, and I did an awful thing that I shouldn't have done. There was a bunch of girls in the class with me that I didn't like because they're always I wouldn't say they were always messing with me, but I feel like there was enough times where I had such a limited amount of interactions with kids in my class that when they did interact with me and it was negative, it was like, I have one interaction with you now and it was shitty. So I don't like you at all. Like, just, you don't talk to me. Just don't even look my way. I remember I wore a tie-dye shirt one time at school. Like it was an orange and yellow tie-dye shirt. It wasn't even a hippie shirt. It was a Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. It was like one of my first DBZ t-shirts, and I was like first into Dragon Ball Z. And it was a big deal to, you know what I mean? Like, it was like I just learned what anime was in 7th grade. I was like, oh my god, this stuff is amazing. What is this? I can't get enough of this. And then I went to the store and I found a t-shirt of 3 of the guys going into their Super Saiyan mode. And it was a tie-dye shirt, though, but it had the sticker or the print from the Dragon Ball Z, and I was like, oh, I want it. And I wore it to school. The first day I wore it to school, 3 girls made fun of me. I never wore it to school again. And it just... You have expectations. And it's like, when people just constantly piss on your parade, it's like, do I want to keep having a parade so you guys can fucking piss on it? You know what I mean? Like... What? So that was 8th grade. 8th grade was was rough. So the girls were we were in the Back to the Future ride. So the horrible thing I did. Let's get back to the horrible thing I did. We were in the Back to the Future ride, and the Back to the Future ride was a motion ride. And so what happens? You all get in your little DeLorean or whatever, and the cars would move forward out of these bays, and it had this huge panoramic screen, and the cars would just all like, doing a little, oh no, we're going down, and the cars were moving around. But I saw on the side of the DeLorean there was like a window, and I was on the side seat, like the driver's seat, like, so there was like a plastic black window, and the roof, there was no roof to the car because it was like, it would have blocked your view of the screen. So I leaned forward, and I could see there was cars, like a car next to us and a car next, you know what I mean? And I heard the girls screaming in the car next to me. I don't know what girls there were. It didn't matter. I just knew they were girls from my class. And I hawked back the biggest loogie I ever could. And I spit it over the car into the next car. And I just heard the girls just go fucking crazy. They stopped the ride. Everybody in our car got kicked out of the car. And I don't know if they knew it was me or not. I don't know. They might have known it was me. Out of all the kids that was in that car, I was definitely suspect number 1. But, like... I wish I wouldn't have done that in hindsight. But, cause and effect. Like, everybody was horrible to me all the time, so this is like my way of being horrible back. Like, oh, you're gonna be horrible? I'm gonna spit in the car full of girls. Like, it was so crass. Like, I would never do that now, because I know how nasty spit is. But when I was a kid, like, I remember kids getting spit in their face all the time. Like, I remember that was a thing kids did. Like, and they usually started a fight. But yeah, no, so 8th grade recognition wasn't very fun. But then 9th grade was even worse. So I went to 9th grade and everybody was getting picked on. I mean, everybody. Like, if you weren't a football player or you weren't a cheerleader, you pretty much got some kind of grief from somebody. Which... I don't know how to break into this. Like, it's like I don't want to say it nonchalantly, but it's such a big deal. So, I used to ditch school. I know how I'm gonna do this. So I used to ditch school with a group of kids. We used to go to school, and school wasn't fun for a lot of us stoner kids, and me and my buddies that smoked pot. We didn't want to go to class a lot of times, so I'd show up to school, and I usually had marijuana. And when I had marijuana, I usually didn't want to go to class with marijuana on me, so I would either keep it in my locker or we would ditch school all day. And if we ditched school all day, we'd just go out in the desert and we'd all hang out in the mesquite bushes and we'd just smoke pot and hang out and wait for school to be done or go over to the bowling alley and get water. And like, it was a very stupid thing we all used to do. We just for the sake of hanging out, I guess. A bunch of guys and girls, we all go out in the woods and or not. There was no woods; it was desert. But there was these bushes, like these huge mesquite trees, like that would shield you from the field of view from the streets, and like you couldn't be seen. Like we go inside, like you break out the sides of them, you can get inside of them, so to speak. Like they grew across the ground, and they, you know what I mean. Like so, there was a couple nice sized ones behind the school, and obviously people who had ditched before us years before. There was like a couch out there at one time, and a big old truck tire to sit on, and things would come and go, pieces of debris to hang out on, and you know, comfortable things to sit on and stuff. But the trees would always remain until they finally, you know, sold off the property and built houses back there. But so I used to ditch with a healthy number of people, but there was one kid in particular who used to follow us. We weren't really, he wasn't really in our group. We just felt bad for him. And he had a class with me, he had PE class with me in ninth grade, and I used to watch this kid just get ridiculed all the time. So like, when he followed us, I never told him he couldn't come. Like, and I was kind of in control of everyone, so if I didn't say you couldn't come, no one else could say you couldn't come. So Freddie was allowed to come because I never said he couldn't. But there was times where girls would piss me off, or people that we knew would piss me off. I'm like, bro, you're not smoking anything of mine. Like, so unless you got your own pot, dude, it ain't worth you coming. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I controlled things, was through who I allowed to smoke weed, and it worked pretty well. It's not like anybody was gonna beat me up and take my bag of weed, because if you said you're gonna beat me, I'd just run. I was faster than everybody else, so you get away. And then nobody would smoke, and then everybody would be mad at you for chasing me off. So like, I think that happened twice. At all the times we ditched, somebody was like, "Oh, you're not gonna let me smoke? I'll just kick your ass," and I just fucking run away, and nobody would smoke. But this kid Freddie Blodgett, he used to get picked on, and I remember a lot of the things that he got picked on about were related to a scar he had on his face. Like, he had a really large scar on his face from when he was a kid. I guess I remember asking him the story how he got that scar, and I remember the story. He said when he was a little kid, he was holding a hot dog up to his face, or like he was walking around with a hot dog, or whatever, eating at a barbecue, and someone had a dog at the barbecue, and the dog went for the hot dog and missed the hot dog and got the kid's face and just bit half the kid's face off almost. So the kid had a huge scar on his face. And kids used to just fucking... I mean, he wasn't a good-looking kid. He wasn't... Like, he was buck-toothed. He was remedial. Like, he had to go to, like, the special English class and the special math class. He didn't go to normal English classes with us. He didn't go to English 9. So, like, he obviously was, you know, a little slow. And, I didn't... You know what I mean? That's not, like, you... Like that's what you're supposed to hold against him. Oh, he was slow, so pick on him for being stupid. No. I'm saying he